want to thank everybody for coming out today. We're really excited to be putting on this forum to hear from new voices and to keep the momentum moving forward, to get some new blood into City Hall.
Yeah.
We started this little endeavor because we were hearing from so many Berkeley residents across a wide range of issues and neighborhoods that they felt like the City Council didn't represent them, that they weren't listening to them. If your elected representatives aren't listening to you, how long do you keep banging your head against the wall talking to them? There's only one language these folks understand, the ballot. Next candidate, also in D1, got a real bonanza in District 1. And so without further ado, Steve Kromer.
Thank you very much. Wow, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Kromer, and I'm a candidate for office in District 1. How's that? Right up? Oh, is that it? Boy, it sounds too loud to me. And I'm hard of hearing. Anybody?
Now just speak into the top of it.
Speak into the top of it.
Yes.
How's that? I'm Steve Kromer. I'm running for City Council in District 1. I moved to Berkeley in 1989 for a 6-week job, doing stuff with PG&E, running around buildings. I liked it. I stuck around for 6 months till that job was over. I got a job at Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory. I liked that. 37 years later, I'm still in Berkeley. I like Berkeley. My kids went through school, and they're off in colleges in New York and Chicago. And I'm married. I have a dog. I love my life here. It's great. But in 2016, there was a presidential election that resulted in something that we all know. And I thought, man, I gotta get local. Reading the New York Times isn't doing it for me anymore. I obviously just don't know what's going on here, so I started to pay attention. The more I paid attention, the more I said, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. They don't add up. There's too many plans. Where's this budget going? So I'm an engineer. I like to bring agreement between people, discuss our differences, and find out what the real facts are, and then come to useful conclusions. I guarantee you, half the people in this room are going to be unhappy with half the things I say. I'm sorry. The other half are going to like it. That's great. The job of a council member is listening, 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 and trying to find a balance that makes sense for everybody for the long term.
Are you ready for questions?
I'm ready for questions, yes.
All right. Let's start with the top as usual. Do you support the loss of parking and bike lanes on Hopkins Street?
Support the loss? No. I thought that was a perfect example of bad politics. That issue got thrown in the last meeting before the summer recess with statements that probably weren't true. And so then we were left with this discussion. Wow, really, that close? Okay, how's that? Okay, sorry. No, I thought that was bad politics, or bad politics at its best, because the resolution was thrown in that you knew was going to incite riots, and it decided how many hours of discussion? The last thing before summer, before they left. And there were apparently statements in it that weren't true from the fire department. So how can that be good politics at all? I thought Blackaby's suggestion to study it more was great. I'm a cyclist. I ride everywhere, all the time, all day. I don't like a lot of the bike infrastructure right now. I don't think it's safe. And on Hopkins Street in particular, yeah, that's amazing. You know, it's one of those things. I just think it's not been done perfectly well. That's one of the things I've witnessed in Berkeley. We have the best intentions often. We have great, passionate people. Why are there so many people here on a Sunday afternoon? This is great. This is what we like about it. But we're making decisions that don't make sense. I mean, so I'm looking to help that. So no, I don't want that the way it is right now. I don't like it. I just say pave it for now.
Do you support or oppose the use of flock as surveillance cameras?
You know, I'm going to provide you with an opportunity to judge the other side. My reaction on the questionnaire was I would defer to the professionals. We have very, 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 very highly paid professionals in our chief of police and others there. And if on the margin they feel that my neighborhoods are safer because they can catch people, I know there's a community opportunity here. We love our own community. We have borders. We're in a big open area. Things fly across those borders. And from what I've heard, these are tools that are useful for stopping some of that. These are issues that link over into things like, can you run a small business in West Berkeley safely? I was on my bike yesterday and I was talking to people, all the windshields along their street had been smashed. And that's not the way to enhance small business or businesses in a neighborhood.
So you support the use of flock?
Here's the thing with Flock. I know Flock is both a technology and a company, and I've heard arguments on both sides about why that's not the right way to do it. So I guess I'm going to say I don't know enough about it because I'm not a Flock expert or a surveillance expert, but I'm open to the idea that surveillance in some ways can be useful on the overall.
Do you support the use of tear gas by police, and do you support the use of the Police Advisory Board advice?
There was a police chief that got basically busted because he said, if I don't have that else, what am I going to do? Do you remember this, Chief Greenwood? And I think that was another example of politics so heated that it wasn't a decision, it wasn't made in the interest of the public generally. No, I don't want to see tear gas ever used if we can help it. But if indeed there ever were a situation that required that sort of crowd control, and no matter which side of the aisle it's on, you maybe want to have that tool in their toolbox. So I'm open to that. I'm not default against it.
Wait, let Margot.
Do you support rent control?
So we have so I think I was going to answer your other question about.
Police accountability board.
Sorry.
Police
Yeah, but
accountability.
I want to go into, so when you go into public office, one of the things we've all had to do is swear our allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the state of California. Beneath that, we have a charter. And among that is a rent control board, which is on the current charter. Among that is other things that all come together. So there's the city council itself, my position in D1, the rent control board is authorized, it's there. I mentioned in my questionnaire, when I moved to Berkeley, I've moved to a lot of places I've rented and I've owned. And I was at one point the poster child of someone who was making way too much money getting a rent controlled apartment. So I know it's complicated. I know there's times and places where we probably have to balance things out. So a rent board can do that. And again, I'm gonna have to learn if I get on council about the 4x4 or the 3x3. Who knows this? The city council members that go together with the rent board members, they meet regularly. But in general, rent board issues are for the rent board.
Do you support upzoning and high rises in the vital commercial corridors of Solano Avenue, Elmwood, and North Shattuck?
I think again on the questionnaire, what I answered was, this is another issue where as a candidate, the first thing I did was go online and start doing research on SB 79 or other areas where what are we required to do? And that brought me into this whole world of, we have a general plan that we report to the state. People familiar with the general plan?
Yes.
It was last updated in 2002. Then we have our own strategic plans. And we have 27 other plans in various stages of dormancy or activity. And within that, you bring it all together. I think that my message is planning overall would be where I'd focus. And you say, are we just gonna ram high-rise buildings in different neighborhoods? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'd want to sit back and organize something over the first couple of years where we rationalize all our plans and see what makes sense in terms of priorities. Generally speaking, I love Summer Kitchen in the Elmwood. I like Solano the way it is. I don't mind 4th Street. I mean, I like our neighborhoods. It's not one of the ones on the market, but I love Cheese Board. I've been all over the city. I like them kind of the way they are, to tell you the truth. But we've got to consider, slow, steady growth as well.
Thank you so much.
Do you support the resolutions to support national and international policies?
No. And here's why. I guarantee you in this room, probably in this room it's going to lean one way, but the city council of a municipal government, I believe, has the responsibility of opening up the opportunity for anyone to speak whatever their passion is. And when you've got a dispersed and diverse set of opinions like we have on some of these international issues here, and our meetings take 4 or 5 hours, city council meetings, and we put on the consent calendar $20 million worth of budget items. Everyone wonders, how does the budget work? Well, we don't know because it all goes through consent. And then we argue for 3 hours over international issues. I think we can have plenty of venues to discuss international issues that don't immediately involve council business.
Questions?
Yeah.
Since you're in favor of the flock cameras for protection, would you consider putting them in people's homes where we can even further be protected?
It's all right. I feel a little emotion creeping in, and I like it, and I like your passion. I appreciate that, and I like the humor. I'm not for them. My initial comment was I would defer to the professionals in that area. That would include the PAB, accountability board. But I want to hear from the experts, where and when have these things potentially been useful, and where and what it's, so I'm not predetermined on that one. And obviously, no, I don't want inside my house. But thanks for the humor.
Bill?
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion about the proposed ferry terminal at Berkeley?
He asked about the ferry terminal. That's the other hot topic from my perspective, D1. Let me see. I recognize the complexity and of the issue generally in terms of having money available from an outside agency that Berkeley could leverage. I personally like the waterfront. I go to there almost every day, and I wish we could just fix the existing pier. I'm not sure that we need a commuter base for people going to San Francisco and parking in Berkeley, and a resource that's for people that is already being used really well, and it's nice. It's nice the way it is. So do I want to turn it into a parking lot and a ferry? No, I actually don't.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Stand up and speak loud.
Oh, I don't need the mic. Okay, so what is your opinion on releasing the full unredacted report on TextGate?
On which?
TextGate. When the Berkeley Police Department was caught sending texts to each other, encouraging police brutality amid really bad racist remarks as well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, go back to Mike.
I'll try and shut this.
Come on up.
About referring to experts on flock. I'm curious what kinds of experts. I work in cybersecurity, and I know that the communities that have most protected flock are in Silicon Valley, where people are aware of the security flaws that flock has acknowledged.
That's actually exactly what I'm talking about. I try and read a wide range of literature on these topics, and the feedback from what you might call some of the libertarian or right wing is very much anti-flock. So, you've got these, politics makes strange what? Bedfellows, right? So there's issues like that where people agree from across the spectrum and on that topic. So I'm totally open to listening to that and saying, for those kind of real pragmatic reasons, maybe leakage of the information or something like that, we don't want to do that. I want to balance that against, though, people that say they're actually catching criminals that are, and they're making progress there. So, but I'm still open to listening. I'd like to talk to you later.
Andrew?
Do you believe do you believe that police accountability is working in Berkeley? And if not, what's the problem?
Yeah, I just don't know. I think you've been at this for a long time, and I see you singing at People's Park. I think you have a great voice, and you're a great musician, and I love your energy, and I love your sincerity behind it. So, Andrew, you're great. I don't know, because I hear, this is one of these things that I started with. As someone coming into Berkeley, and I've got we all have our focus generally. And okay, another one I'll tell you is mine has been the parks. And going to the park every day, and cleaning the park, and meeting the neighbors, and just feeling really good, joining Berkeley Partners for Parks, and learning way about the parks and the ferry and other things. I've not done that with the Police Accountability Board. And here's what I would love, man. I would love to have 50 police in Berkeley, right? Because it's so safe and so nice, and people are so behaving so well that we just don't need them. I don't want a lot of public safety that we don't need. I really don't. And the budgets are extreme. And there's a lot of, look at our budget. There's the two biggest budget items are public safety. They're police and firefighters. We don't have volunteer firefighters. We have a very highly paid firefighter because we have fire dangers. These are all complex issues. And I wish we didn't have crime. And I wish there were windshields being smashed along 2nd Street or the things that are happening and pushing small businesses out. But we do. We just do. And it's like, okay, how do we listen? Hit back to listen, listen, listen.
But if the police aren't working,
I don't know that they're not working. I know that there's always going to be disagreements on whether it's working, what it's working. Here's what I do for a living. I actually try, I'm a consultant, and I'm actually global consultant. It's on energy issues, energy efficiency. Are things working is my whole job. The first thing you do is you go to people and say, what would the evidence we collect be that we could agree on would prove something's working? You start from the end in mind. You go, can we come up with a plan that we collectively agree, if we collect the data, we'll agree to it. Then you start collecting the data, then you run the whole thing. I want the whole city government run that way. The entire budget run that way. What are we doing with the money? What are we going to get for it? How do we know we got it? That's how you go back and you will find, I believe, lots of opportunities for efficiency.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question about the resolutions. And I noticed on your website, you did have one of your points was keep council focused on Berkeley, which is something we've heard a lot from council members that did not want to uphold Berkeley's history of being one of the first cities to go up against South African apartheid, etc. And so I guess I'm curious to hear you talk a little more about that. And I also am curious, what's the difference between Berkeley in the past and Berkeley now? Why can't we or shouldn't we take a stand against genocide? And what's the difference between Berkeley and Richmond and Oakland and El Cerrito and Albany and all of our neighbors who have had clear moral conscience and sent a clear message on that?
I appreciate it, seriously and sincerely. And you know, your passion on that topic is what has fueled that in the past. And the previous councils have taken that and voted in the way they did to allow that become the business of the city, publicly. I still feel, personally, that I hear people on both sides of all these issues, and I'm not going to even raise one, which I think we all know is the biggest one, because there's people on both sides that are very, very passionate about it. I would love this place, what I would like Berkeley to be is free speech 2.0, where we weren't scared to have people from all sides meeting together.
Is that a good people from all sides perspective, though?
You know,
Good people on both sides?
All right, see, there you go. I think there's in the city of Berkeley, there are people with different opinions. And you know, I don't think the city council itself should take a position on these things, although it should completely make it possible to have these conversations.
Okay, I think it's time for a
Closing statement.
Oh, closing statement. Okay, so thank you. I hope I've given you a little bit of maybe a different perspective. My focus is on listening. My focus is on looking for possible solutions that we can all cooperatively agree on. And starting there, what's the end in mind we're going for? Any of these, it's maybe, you know, how do we come to a conclusion about what the topic is on that issue? Who's responsible? And then having something working towards that we can judge and track. So that's what I do for a living. I love it. The tools available for that are great now. I won't go into that because that's also highly controversial. But there's all kinds of tools to allow us to really formalize our plans, rationalize our plans. We have way too many plans. So rationalize the plans, work the plans, better Berkeley will happen with all of you.
right on.
Thank you so much, Steve Kromer.